We can't,
Well,
I'm back.
hold on.
I move we adjourn.
Oh, we got it. Oh, we got it. No, we got you back. We got you back.
We've been here. It's you guys who've
You
been
got us
Yeah,
back.
what have you done in our absence?
We adjourned the meeting.
Adjourned. They adjourned the meeting.
Beginning of your report on the Facilities Committee, Mrs. Shear.
okay, I haven't given it yet.
Oh, okay. We couldn't tell what was going on. You can proceed.
You want me to give it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the Facilities Committee met on March 11th, and they won't meet again until I don't know when. We were scheduled to meet in mid-May, but it'll depend on when we go back. However, what we have been working on, the minutes for March 11th are in the library this week. But I already gave a report on what occurred at the March 11th meeting. However, in your file documents, you have file attachments, you have the charter and a flow chart that was worked out for the Facilities Committee. There was a subcommittee of the Facilities Committee, and on that was Mr. Olson, Mr. Clapper, Beth Bonville, Carly Evaniski, Armand Quadrini, Alex DeSoto, Mike DeLima, and me. And Karen Siri, I have kudos to her for the flow chart. She worked out my cryptic notes and did a beautiful job with it if you've had an opportunity to take a look at it. So,
Nora, can I just interrupt you for a minute? Karen?
sure.
Yes, Ms. Lau can't get back on? Okay. Okay, cool. All right,
She said I don't have to go back
I
now.
don't know. Our stream is back up also, so we are live.
Okay.
I think we go forward.
Yes.
I can continue or no?
Okay, you can proceed, I think, Mrs. Shear.
Okay, so we met, the Charter Committee met 4 times, starting in December, 3 more times in January, and presented it to the Facilities Committee. There were a few minor revisions made, primarily in the flow chart, the direction that it went, and what was included, and the colors. And for that, Karen Siri was very, very helpful. And I'd like to move DOE 62, the Facilities Committee Charter and Flow Chart. It's right here. Be it resolved that the board hereby approves the Facilities Committee Charter as presented to the board at this meeting, a copy of which shall be incorporated by reference within the minutes of this meeting. So it's the charter and the flow chart. And I should say that legal counsel reviewed it to make sure that we had cited all the appropriate law, commissioners' regulations, and policy. So,
A second.
Okay, so
A
that's been
second.
moved. We have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Thank you for all that effort, because I know that takes a lot of energy for people to create the charter, and you met many times, and I just want to congratulate the committee for coming up with such a cogent document.
Yes, that's what
Ditto.
I would like to do, Mrs. Shear. Thank you very much for all of your effort. It was really excellent. And what else is there to say? Thank you.
So are we voting?
Are we going, any other comments or questions? Call the question. All in favor of adopting BOE 62, the charter and flow chart for the Facilities Committee charter?
Aye.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Unanimously adopted. Thank you very much, Mrs. Shear.
You're very welcome.
Excellent work. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Are there any resolutions that a board member would like to remove from the consent agenda? Okay, hearing none, can I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Second, are there any questions about any item on the consent agenda?
I have a comment
Okay?
just about people who are retiring in this very strange time. I know it's going to be a very different kind of retirement, and I just want to congratulate them all and hope that there's a way that they can celebrate, not in the too far future.
Well, and
But
while
it
we
is a major change, and they've all made a major contribution. So
look to do things differently for graduation and awards and those kind of things, we are also looking to create recognition for our retirees and our teachers who are awarded tenure, like we usually do in a board meeting in June. We're going to find an alternate way to do that as well.
great, thank you.
I also would like to thank all the teachers for the time of service they've given our students. And I feel really bad that they're not able to complete that final process, having just done that a few years ago. And taking part of their students last year is really kind of sad. Especially like music concerts that are not happening for the music people, art shows that are not happening, science show fairs, etc. But I do thank them for their service to our kids.
Any other comments? I would echo those comments, for sure.
Yes, I would wanted to weigh in as well because I know I've said this before, but it was something my husband always said. You don't know where the teacher ends. You know, they in a sense touch eternity because it's a ripple effect. So, and thank you very much for your service and for what you've meant to your students. And I am sorry that you're retiring in a very strange period of time, but it doesn't overshadow our appreciation and how much you've meant to your students over the years. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Unanimously adopted. We don't have any contributions to acknowledge, I don't think.
I would like to thank, for one contribution, all the parents who are working so hard with homeschooling that never intended to do that. I just want to thank them all because I think it's a major contribution and it shouldn't go unnoticed.
Thank you.
I think we should give them a hand.
Have old business?
I have one old business that maybe should have been, that I could have actually asked during the budget conversation, but it's about the language around the tax levy limit that we had talked about last time. I'm just wondering if there was an update on that.
I don't have an update. Actually, I've been playing a little bit of phone tag with the Assemblyman's office, but Camille and I will reach out again tomorrow and see what we can get done. And I will send emails out to the board to let them know what I've learned, if anything.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I do know that it went to the Ways and Means Committee in a discussion to make sure that districts are not harmed by going below their tax levy limit. And I know that they're trying to touch base with you, Dr. Padalino.
Yes.
Okay.
I asked them to.
Okay, other old business? New business? So I did want to bring up that I had an exchange with a community member who is volunteering at, I believe it's Chambers Middle School, in an after-school reading enhancement program, and she wanted to know how and if and how that could continue in a distance learning environment. So there's a group of approved volunteers. I presume they're level 2 volunteers. But how would we let that, how could that proceed in a distance learning environment?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I can only tell her that I would bring it to the board's attention and to the administration's attention. I believe it needs some policy discussion. But I just want to put it out there.
Yeah, this is one of, I mean, it's, and every day there's little pieces of things that we do when we are in normal operation that I'm getting, people speaking to people about or information about that they're like, well, how can I continue to do that? And we're trying to figure that out. So we'll work on this, and I got that message also from Jim today, and I've reached out to get some more information and see where else do we have. I mean, we have foster grandparents coming into the buildings. We have a lot of different volunteers who do things with our kids and read and help. And are these things that are just going to have to wait till September, or is there some way we can bring people into the fold to help us do what we're doing? So we're gonna continue to look at that and see what we can do to make it happen. And again, this individual request was also helping with our L's, which is one of those areas where we really need help, especially during this period. So we're going to see. And again, sometimes there's things that go on in buildings that the principal has initiated that we don't even really know, that we have the volunteer forms, but we don't know that they're coming in and doing certain things. So we're going to communicate. We have some communication with the principals tomorrow. We have a principals meeting tomorrow, so we'll get a little more information on things like that.
May I ask, I think that's an important service that is being provided, especially for the ELL students. And I think that we're using this team thing here, which, our tech people are saying great, but we use Zoom all the time. And we had contacted, our people had contacted the heads of Zoom, and they said that they have fixed some of the problems that people were having, security matters and whatnot. And for some of these people to do what they want to do, it's probably easier if they could do it on Zoom. Have we looked at Zoom after we made the decision?
We're waiting here. The Attorney General is still not back with his report on Zoom. They're still bringing back some information. I think Zoom was overwhelmed with the use of Zoom when this first started. I don't think there was any malintent, but I think there's some of their security wasn't what it should be, and the Attorney General started to look into them, not because they purposely were doing things, but because their security was creating situations. That report's not back. I actually had a discussion about that this morning. Once we get that back, then we can have a discussion about Zoom. And I agree. I think Zoom is a little more commonly used in the public than Teams. But I think as soon as we get something like that back and we get some assurances that our security of students and breach of student information wouldn't be an issue, then we can move forward.
Okay.
Dr. Padalino, isn't there a very different difference in Zoom if we are paying for the program as to the free one? I thought the paid one looks like it's totally okay.
Yeah, that's not the information that I'm getting, but I'll have to find that out.
All right.
No, they were having the same problem it's the same thing. They just give you more capability on the one that's paid, and they were having the same problems across the board. But we had the CEO of Zoom in a what do you call a webinar, whatever, and she indicates that they had fixed that. Well, we'll hear the difference.
Dr. Padalino, I think that as you move forward and make decisions as a cabinet or with the principals, we probably have to keep track of these things so we can include them in whatever policies are appropriate.
Yes. Agreed.
So that it's consistent.
Yeah.
I just think that whatever one school's doing, we should make sure that's what every school's doing.
it puts a big burden on the technology department to have to try to support different platforms.
Yeah.
You know, Teams was chosen because it's a very robust program, a very robust platform, and has features that aren't necessarily available in Zoom. And but Zoom is very popular, so there's a balance that has to be struck. But I think in terms of instruction between teachers and students, I think we have to continue using Teams.
Teams is a better platform for that. Is it a better platform for this? That's the question I think we have to ask.
Okay. Board member announcements? Okay, does anybody want to go into a second executive session to discuss superintendent's evaluation process?
Isn't it the same as it's been? We haven't chosen a new evaluation instrument yet.
We don't have a new evaluation process, no, so it's the same as that it's been.
Then no, I don't want to go into.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I'd ask.
No technical problems here. No, thank you.
Okay.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. Is there, I hear a motion to adjourn, a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you for participating. I know a lot of little glitches here. Hopefully we'll get better, but I hope we don't have to spend a long time getting better, but I think we should plan for it maybe.
Well, we made some improvements, what we thought were improvements, that ended up being not improvements. So we were better last time than we were this time. So we'll
Yeah.
have to
Oh, wow.
Everyone be well.
unimproved.
Safe and well, everybody. Good
I
to
think
see
it went
you.
well.
Okay.
Everybody
Stay
be well.
healthy.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Right.